over 11 years. He has earned the Distinguished Toastmaster Award 3 times and will soon complete a 4th. Even after all these years and awards later, he is still excited about what Toastmasters has to offer. Today he will be doing a special speech. It will be the Icebreaker. Presenting the Pathways Icebreaker, please welcome Hugh Wynn.
Pathways was conceived 8 long years ago. Some people got together and had an orgy of ideas. Then after 7 long years, Pathways was finally born in California. Over the last year, Pathways has been traveling all over the world. And next week, May 15th, Pathways is coming to you, to your club. Yes. Toastmasters, yes. Pathways is the new education system of Toastmasters. To tell you a little bit about how it works, we'll involve someone who could be a new member. One guy?
Yes.
Right.
Thank you.
So you haven't been through the Toastmaster system at all before, right?
No.
So if you sign up next week, you will be on Pathways.
Okay.
So here's how it works. One guy signs up next week, and she'll get all her materials online. Then she'll sign up for her icebreaker, her first speech. Then when she's ready, she'll get up here and give her first speech, her icebreaker to everyone. After she gives a speech, someone who is evaluating her, like Valerie is evaluating me tonight, using the official Pathways evaluation form, she will give her evaluation of you.
3 pages.
It has 3 pages of lots of useful information, mostly to help the evaluator help you out. Then the next project comes. You'll give a second speech. You'll come up here, and one guy will give a speech about any topic, anything you want to talk about. It could be about yourself, or it could be about your family, or about work, or about travels, anything you want, using hand gestures, vocal variety, or you can just stand here and give a speech. Or you can use notes, do whatever you want for your speech. Then you'll get evaluated on that speech. Then you move on to the next speech, the third speech. What's special about this speech is that you use the feedback you got from your evaluator from the previous speech, and you incorporate it into this speech. So it could be the same speech you gave before, or it could be a brand new speech that just uses the feedback that you got from the evaluator. So Pathways has an even bigger focus on evaluation. It has so much focus that after one guy has given 3 speeches in Toastmasters, you will watch someone give a speech, then you will come up here and evaluate their speech. So after 3 speeches in Toastmasters, one guy will give an evaluation herself. And you will have lots of resources. You'll have the evaluation form like Valerie has that will help you give an evaluation. So like I said, evaluation is a very important point, not only of Pathways, but of Toastmasters in general, but Pathways has a bigger focus on it. Pathways also focuses on mentorship. One of the next speeches one guy will give is a speech about mentorship, how you were mentored. It could be when you were growing up, maybe a teacher mentored you, or maybe at work, someone mentored you at work, or maybe, I don't know, someone in your family mentored you through something. It'll be a speech about mentorship, how someone was able to help you. And after giving that speech, if you want to, you can go into the Pathways Mentor Program. And it will go through different projects. And at the end of the projects, you can become a Pathways mentor. You can mentor everyone else in the club about Pathways. So yes, a brand new member, like one guy, can be your mentor because Do you know anything about pathways?
No.
Julie, do you know anything about pathways?
Absolutely not.
Valerie, do you know anything about pathways? Just a little bit. But my guy will jump into pathways, and she will know more about pathways than you do. And so she could be a mentor for your club, a brand new member. Isn't that exciting? Yeah. Aren't you glad you showed up tonight? But Pathways has lots of resources to help you out. Like say you get your materials online, you'll also get instant recognition. You know, currently in the current education system, you get 10 speeches and you get an award. After 10 speeches in Pathways, you get recognized for level 1, level 2, and level 3. You get 3 levels of recognition after completing 10 speeches. So you get more feedback on how you do. And you can even give each other feedback. You can go online and give each other badges if you want to. What you do with the badges, I don't know. I think it's something like a like on Facebook. You can just give each other likes or give each other badges. So it's something new, it's something fresh. I know Toastmasters has been working on it a long time. And now next week, it'll be coming out. To go into the details of how Pathways will work will be your Pathways Guide. So please welcome your Pathways Guide, Jeff An.
Greetings, intrepid travelers. Are we ready for a new adventure? Are we ready for fun and action? The more things change, the more they stay the same. Keep that in mind through the rest of my speech here. Toastmasters will not change, but the way we do things will change ever so slightly. The meetings will look just like they do now. You'll have speeches, you'll have evaluations, you'll have table topics. You'll have every little part of the meeting, the grammarians and the timers and all of the people that are helping will be the same. There'll be contests, TLIs, all of that will be the same. So what has changed, Jeff? What is going on here? Mostly, the change comes in the way you receive your path, your speeches. Right now, when we first join Toastmasters, we get a book that has 10 speeches in it. And you complete those 10 speeches, and at the end of it, you get the letter CC after your name. Woohoo! Woohoo! Then you do more speeches, and you get more letters after your name, and that's sort of it. That's the way. The new Pathways changes everything about that. Because you're beginning your speeches with a goal. You have an end product that you're looking for. Why did you join Toastmasters?
Communication.
To learn better interpersonal communications, let's say. Why did you join Toastmasters? To be a better salesman? Yes, I thought so.
Yeah.
Valerie, why did you join Toastmasters? You want to be a professional public speaker? I knew that. When you begin your path, you can have Toastmasters choose your path for you. It's the easiest way, and it's the slickest thing they've come up with yet. You begin by taking a little quiz. Now, you don't have to study for this quiz. It's very simple. They're going to ask you a series of questions, such as, when you're in front of a group, do you make eye contact with everyone? And at the bottom, you have the choices from strongly disagree to strongly agree. And you're grading yourself on how you do these little portions of speaking that they give you. At the end of all that, you come up with 3 choices. They give you 3 choices of paths you get to choose. Hugh, which path did you choose?
Dynamic leadership.
Dynamic leadership, which is also the one I chose. It's a path based on what I've just done as a quiz, and it gives you pointers and specific speeches to help you with exactly where you need help. Some people don't need help with PowerPoint. As a salesman, you generally don't have to have PowerPoint. But as a professional speaker, you may. As a teacher, you may. And it teaches you how to use PowerPoint in certain aspects. Only where you need them, in reality. Now, you can choose all the speeches in your path, but you really are better off letting Toastmasters help you with it because it gives you something to look forward to. At the end of all of that, let's say we reach the pinnacle of our path. We're looking at Machu Picchu now. What did I just get for all that? Well, I've gotten a series of specific skills. Come on in, Laura. A series of specific skills for that end product. In other words, I wanted to be a public speaker. And I answered all of the questions. It took about 10 minutes or 15 minutes or something. And I answered all the questions, and they told me, this is the speech you really want to have. This is the one we recommend. These other two are ones that you may like to do later. It's not very different, because now I just go to my meetings, and I have my speech ready. And I begin again. All of us who have done Toastmasters before, you guys said you have your DTMs, and you're about to start over. You could start over with a CC again, but let's start over with Pathways, because you're going to go to DTM as well with Pathways. And DTM means Distinguished Toastmaster for the new guys. This is basically the highest ranking you can get in Toastmasters. It's like the PhD. As already having a DTM, everyone starts at the bottom again. So everyone, who's whatever level you're at, when you start your path, you start with the icebreaker. And then your second speech and your third speech, and bing, you've achieved something already. Right now, you have to wait 10 whole speeches before you get something like a badge or recognition as a competent communicator. Now, after 3 speeches, you've already got something. 3 more speeches, you get another something. You see how fun that is? It's a little bit better. What they're doing is they're driving it from just random choosing of speeches to something more helpful to you in your goal as a Toastmaster. Everyone has a reason to be here. Everyone showed up for something. I can tell you honestly, my original, when I first signed up for Toastmasters, because my dad told me I should, and then I found I had a free audience for my jokes and stories that no one was there.
All right.
What that really means is I want to be a public speaker because I like the audience. And when I chose my path, that's what it came up with. There it was. Toastmasters is not going to change as radically as we think. Everyone's afraid. Who loves change? See, not very many people. Some people do. Exactly. Toastmasters didn't do this to be mean and to trick you. What they're doing is they're trying to progress with the times. They're bringing things more into the digital world so that when you become a Toastmaster, your digital life, which you I'm sure have already, will fit right in with Toastmasters and flow like a dream. Because you'll join, won't you? Of course. Sure.
Go twist his arm.
If I have to. It's going to be more digital. What they want you to do is to be signing up and going into Toastmasters International. Get onto the Toastmasters International website, and what you'll find there is Basecamp. That's where we're all at right now. We're standing in Basecamp. We're ready to begin our path. Basecamp is going to be your hub for everything you need to know. All of your speeches and all of the materials you need are online, and they're free. You can read them online, you can print them as a PDF format, or if you really feel like spending the dough, you can buy paper copies that they'll mail to you in 2 or 3 weeks with $850 in shipping. Because they're Toastmasters International.
Not really.
But you can print any of the products that they're giving you. Anything that they show you, anything they offer you on your path is free to print. And you can have that for free. Just like I'm about to gift your club with a free gift, with the rollout kit. Julie, you are the Vice President of Education of this club, aren't you?
Yes.
Guess what else you're going to be starting next week?
What am I doing?
You're going to be the Vice President of Education and
Yes,
Basecamp Manager.
Nice.
Doesn't that sound fun?
Okay. So
I'll tell you.
I was going to say.
Here's what happens. You are going to have access to the Basecamp. And as Vice President of Education, you have the maximum control over Basecamp and over all of the club members as to what's happening in their meeting. Let's say you give your icebreaker speech, and it's finished. You go home, log into your Basecamp, and check the box that says icebreaker completed.
Oh,
Julie then also goes in and looks at your thing and checks the other side of the box that says, yes, she has completed that.
Got it.
Now,
Okay.
that counts. Bing, done. In the old days, we used to fill up the book, try to keep
Yes.
track of the book,
Yes.
try to keep track of all the dates and the times and the speeches that you wrote down, all the titles of the speeches
Yes.
that you're supposed to keep track of.
And chase down members.
She has to sit there in front of the computer for 2
Signatures.
hours typing all these words in, and they're like, what is this speech? What is the name of this stupid speech? I can't even read this. Right? Now, that's all over in the past. Done. Finished? You check a box, she checks a box, and you've logged it in. TI knows now that you're doing it. Then, when you've got to the third speech, and you get that first badge, bing, already there, ready for you. When you reach CC, when you reach your base level, you're going to get your recognition for that right away. I'm going to give you a gift right now, Basecamp Manager Girl. And in this box is many wonderful things, not the least of which is going to be this handout that you can give to the club tonight, and they can read all about things.
Okay. Very
Also
nice.
in here are 3 pins that say Pathways on them. For the first 3 members that sign up for Pathways, and she'll know who they are because it's logged in by date and time, you get a free pin. And also, there's a thumb drive with some deep and secret mysteries on it. Mostly what's on there is this thing that's called the Navigator. The Navigator is a guide as to how to handle Pathways and what the heck to do with all this stuff. It has questions and answers on the website. When you finally get to be on the website, you'll find a whole huge section of questions and answers. When I first went on there and saw this interesting list of questions and answers, I said, oh, I should just print that out so I have it with me in case someone has a question. At the time, it was 247 pages. Now it's well over 300 pages. There's something like 1,500 questions in it. And what's happened is we are the last group on Earth to get Pathways. We're the last guys. That means they've worked a lot of the kinks and bugs out. They've asked all the questions we could even think of asking. And they've answered them for us online in an easy-to-look-up format that anyone can look at once you get to base camp. You'll be able to look at it. You have a dopey question, something weird, like, what am I going to do? I'm 3 speeches from D2M. Do I have to do Pathways? Well, no. You can finish your DTM. That's what I'm going to do. Then I'll start Pathways. You guys who are at a tipping point, just join Pathways. You are brand new, you have to join Pathways. You guys who are riding the edge, we have 2 whole years to finish up whatever we're into to get to Pathways. And then you can start a new path. How fun is that? And you'll be in the loop. You'll be the coolest kids in town. And the first 3 will wear their badge to every meeting and say, yep, I'm already in it.
Yeah.
I get one because I'm a guide. Otherwise, I'd be waiting a year or so. In reality, Pathways is not that different from what we're doing now. The meeting remains the same, right? The more things change, the more they stay the same. The only thing changing is the way in which you get your speeches and the way that we log our speeches and the end goal. That sounds simple enough, doesn't it? A reasonable, not too hard. Are you freaking out still? You're all right. You're calming now.
I was just going to ask a question. It's still
We're-
my responsibility to follow up to make sure that they're inputting their information in the computer, right? Because if I go on the computer, it's not there. So it's still my duty
a good question.
to
There'll be-
follow up just to make sure.
In fact, Julie, you know what's going to happen right
Remind
now?
them. Yes.
We're going to roll into the next portion of our meeting, which is called
Okay.
Question and Answer Time. And to do that, I have to have my ambassador with me who really
Oh,
knows
okay.
this stuff. Inside out,
Yes, thank
upside
you.
down. Thank you.
So, can you repeat your question?
Yes, it would still be my responsibility and my due diligence to follow up and make sure that they're inputting their information into the computer so I can do my part and check it off for them. Just to
Yes.
kind of be a reminder out
Yes.
there.
You will have to input it into the computer, yes.
Just make
no one's
sure-
going to do it
Yes.
for you.
Well,
Yes,
nobody's going to
okay.
do it for the club either. Your member needs to go home and do it.
Right.
Otherwise, it doesn't count
Right.
until they check the box and you check the box, and then it counts.
Yes.
If you somehow
Yes.
don't have a computer or don't have access, I guess you can ask a fellow member to do it for you. If that's a challenge for you.
Okay.
Libraries, I
Library.
believe.
Well, yeah, go to the library.
I belong to 2 clubs.
Oh no. Now you're wrecking it.
No, so when I go to Pathways, I'm going to run a dual track for a bit, which I can do with 2 clubs. Am I able to access Pathways from both clubs, or am I limited to Pathways for one only?
You will have access to all the paths you have. There's still
Okay.
a workaround where to make it easy for you to access it, but you will have access.
Okay, so I could do a Pathways down at PBAT next week, and then
Right.
You could, yes.
the next time I could do a manual speech, and
Once
Back and
Pathways
forth.
rolls out next week, you understand what I mean by there's a workaround to
Okay.
that. You
Got
understand.
it.
Right now, you don't have access to this. You can go on TI, but you can't get into the Pathways base camp area. You can't see anything in there. They won't allow it. But come next, Tuesday?
Next Tuesday,
Bam.
8 days from tonight.
Log in. Check it out. Question.
Actually, I have like 3 of them.
So,
Okay, go ahead. All right, this is exciting.
You mentioned, like, for instance, that Valerie was as the evaluator, so does she have to enter her evaluation in Pathway?
good question. She's filling out those papers, which as the speaker, you should print them for your speech, bring them and give to your evaluator.
Okay.
Your evaluator then gives them back to you, and you can now scan them and plop them in next to your speech online.
Oh.
In the old days, we kept them in the book. Remember, they were in the
Yes.
book, and you thumb through it. Now it's the book, but the book is online, so you take the physical copy and make it digital and put it with your speech there. Or something
you
else
could email the evaluator your evaluation sheet if you're so inclined, and the evaluator could bring a laptop if that evaluator wants to, and type up the evaluation and send an email.
Okay, so that evaluation would be different than the evaluation you would receive in Plum.
Be exactly the same.
Now,
The reason that she's using that sheet is one of the sections on that sheet, and later we can look at it if you want to, is there's this big section of 1 to 5s. In other words, did Hugh use eye contact 1 to 5? And when you plop that into your online, you can go back and look at all those 1 to 5s. Now, I was not good at eye contact when I first started, but then look, in my next speech, I was a number 2. And then I held 2 for a while, then I got to a 3. I want to get a 5 on eye contact, so I'm really going to work on it, make sure that they see me looking. And that gives you something to look at, and that's on those that isn't in the old way. The old way, every single evaluation page in the back of the book was different. This is standardizing a lot of it, but there are specific questions for specific speeches, such as icebreaker.
it's all to help you out, really. It's not giving you more work. You're just doing
so
it.
so that it would be the same evaluator that would give the
Yes,
verbal
yeah, and they'll give you the
evaluation
verbal
here
off that
and
sheet.
then-
Yep,
okay.
exactly correct.
Okay, so that was the first question.
And it helps new evaluators to evaluate because on the sheet is also explanations and ideas of things to look for.
Okay.
In other words, it's not just this like, go ahead and evaluate me.
So like my guy, when she comes to evaluate, she'll know something.
Right, there'll be on the sheet, if you read it ahead of time, you'll see that it says, what does it say on there? Give us an example.
First question.
I'm eating. I'm
Oh,
on the path.
great. We had this time, Valerie.
It's very simple on this particular speech. General comments, you excel that, you may want to work on. But there is a purpose statement. The purpose of this project is for the member to introduce himself or herself to the club and learn the basic structure of public speaking. And then there's notes for the evaluator.
So hints and tricks all along, right?
Here's
And then the
your-
1 to 5 section.
Check 1 to 5, and then the last page, actually there's an explanation of what each of the 1 to 5 means for each block. So
Okay.
there's no guessing there. It's good.
Yeah, this is all to help the evaluator, and it's to help the evaluator help you.
Right.
That's why we're doing
And
it.
one of the cool tricks is within the first several speeches that you do, you will become an evaluator and you have to do it.
Yeah, gotcha.
For those of you who just like to be timer every time.
So that was,
Okay?
Okay.
so the second question is, you said for people that sign up for it, if you sign up for it and you're like halfway to your CC, does that mean you start back over again from the beginning? Or can you?
That's a
Right
good
now,
question.
until 2020, you have the option. If I was halfway through to my CC, I think I'd go ahead and finish my CC. Why not?
Okay,
Then start your new path. If you're close to a goal, within a few speeches of a goal, just go ahead and finish it because you should. You might as well go on and keep that in your head. And then once you've finished, you can stop thinking about the old way and begin straight up pathways.
Or you could do both at the same time. I know some people do them
that
both at the same
So
time.
you could finish the speeches that you've
Right.
kind of gone and still start a pathway.
But they don't count in pathways at all.
Right, that makes sense.
So you
Okay.
start at an
For example-
icebreaker every time.
Yeah, you want to jump into pathways, but you like the humor speaking manual. You still want to do speeches from that. So you can sign up for pathways, then do a speech from the humor speaking manual. You can do both.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. And at the moment, the third question is out of my head, so
Okay.
we'll get back to it.
Okay. Robbie?
Do I need a new password? Can I use my old password?
Yes. To get onto Toastmasters International will be the same password you've always used. And you'll have access to your Basecamp because it'll say Pathways and then it drops down and it'll say Basecamp, go to Basecamp, think, go to Basecamp, and now you're there.
Oh,
Yeah, they do recommend, not in Toastmasters, but in general, you should change your password every so often.
We learned that last week from you.
Yes.
And what we're hoping it does in the long run is we're hoping in general that it helps everyone to go online, sign up for your speeches, sign up for your roles, because I know that is a slacker area in Toastmasters in every club I've ever been in. Every single one of these 8 clubs that we visited, 4 of which I visited regularly, the sign up online thing has fallen by the wayside.
Yes.
Nobody does it. It's not from the same website, but you're now on your computer already thinking Toastmastery thoughts. Just go online and finish the sign up and get it done. Just get in there and get it finished. And then you're signed up for the next meeting and you're ready to go. One of the clubs was really slick. They had it up here on the screen, and at the end of the meeting, nobody left until that thing was full. And by full, it was
Yes.
online, already done and done. So,
Yes, but that's up my
make us
alley.
get a PowerPoint.
Yes.
Peggy.
What about the competent leader with all the jobs that we do?
Yes.
Is there something in Pathways for us to check off that we were this and this and this and this?
Yes, it's called Competent Leader.
Okay.
No, it's all incorporated in pathways.
It's incorporated in the pathways, yes.
There's no separate manual where you check off the different tasks. It's all
Okay.
Oh. Okay.
Does that mean that everybody has to run a contest eventually and everybody?
In the
not-
long run, everyone has to do
something. but
something.
Oh, that could be interesting.
But it's
It's not what you think. They made it easier so that you're not given a long list. Because the competent leader manual is a long list.
massive, yeah.
You don't have to do, like to complete level 1, you just have to be a general evaluator, a topics master, and a Toastmaster.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that.
Very simple.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it still 10 speeches for your CC and pathways?
It's completely different.
It is. It's no longer like a CC. There is a DTM.
Well,
That still
I'm
exists.
thinking in terms of, I know Valerie's always concerned about us keeping our status.
Oh,
as a
for the
club.
DCP, that's a great question. What happens with that? This is the Distinguished Club Program. In other words, each club has a set of goals every year that they must reach. Get 4 new members, get 4 more new members. Get a CC, get 2 more Cs, that sort of thing. That remains the same, except in the education department, there's actually now 12 choices of which you must finish 6. You see what I'm saying? There's 6 from the old way and 6 from the new way to fill in that gap. So while in transition, once we hit 2020 and the old way goes away, Pathways is it, it's back to 6. Do you understand that?
For example, if 2 members complete a CC, then 2 other members complete a level 1, and that's 2 different goals that are met.
Right.
It
So
can be,
level 1 is only 3 speeches though.
Yeah,
Yes.
crazy, ain't it?
well, 4. Yeah,
4.
There's a
Oh,
4th
okay,
speech.
4. So that seems easier than doing a CC.
It is.
It is easier, yeah.
That's the whole point. What they're doing is they're taking this massive Toastmaster thing and they're chopping it into smaller bits for you to easier to chew and swallow. Such as right now there are, and it says it on that sheet, there are 68 skill sets that we learn in the Toastmasters today. With Pathways, there'll be 300 of them. Things like eye contact, hand gestures, body movement, that sort of thing, is broken up into 300 smaller parts. So you can work on very specific pieces of it, and you can accomplish your goals in a little bit easier, faster way. Fun, huh, Mike?
What are the rules for judging? Under the old system, you had to have completed 6 speeches in the CC manual to be a judge. What will it be in Pathways?
They're still working on the specifics for that. They're thinking level 2 right now.
Level 2? Okay.
Yeah. Which is technically 6 or 7 speeches.
About, 6, 7 speeches.
I just thought of something too,
Great.
where it might be like a fault. What if, like, the majority of the members are on the same path and pathways?
Okay.
Now we have a contest coming up, and nowhere in the path does it state and stuff for that person to be contest master or contest judge. So how do we reach that gap to make sure that those positions are filled? If the
same way you've
majority of
always done
everybody's
it.
still on the
You
same
volunteer people.
pathway. Okay. So like I just thought of that when Valerie
Contest-
said, "Oh, very interesting," and then all of a sudden that started.
Well, they
getting
pared
my
the
brain
contest
working
down
too.
to basically
Right.
Toastmasters International requires only the international speech contest, no more than that. They used to require all the other ones. Now it's up to the district, I believe, that can pick if they want to have a humorous contest, tall tales contest, any of the other contests that we normally have. I think they've pared it down to just the one contest. So really, there's only one contest a year, and by that time, you could get somebody to run the
Okay.
show.
And that's a discussion outside of pathways, nothing
Right,
to do with
right.
pathways.
That does not have to do with pathways.
But it's something that's happening, yes.
Going along that way, aren't we going to only one conference a year now?
Yeah, that's what they're
So
saying.
that works.
Right.
Yes.
That's
Okay.
that doesn't really
It's
have
not
anything to do
pathways.
with pathways. It's really just
It's something that's happening in
a
Toastmasters.
general
yeah.
Toastmaster change
I
that
just
they've
followed
done.
on to what
Right.
you said earlier, I thought.
But yes, it's similar.
Toastmasters just wants to put all the changes at once, right?
Right. Yes. Let's get it over with.
Yeah, yeah.
I probably missed it because I got here late, but I'm wondering, are we still going to be having bronze, silver, and gold designations? No?
It's different now.
It's level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4.
That's all you go? So your badge will just say level 1 or level 2 on it?
And then it'll go up to DTM.
Oh, wow.
DTM is 2 paths and a series of projects. Therefore, being in 2 clubs, you could accomplish it quicker by going to 2 clubs and doing a speech every time you go to a club. But they're
And I looked at the paths and the current requirements for DTM. It is about 10 speeches fewer for the pathways DTM.
right.
If that's what you're interested in.
It's slicker, is what it is. They've really taken away the chaos of it. Because right now, if you compare the two, the old way is a little chaotic. It's a little unsure. It's a little you've got to make decisions. The new way is not that they're guiding you, but they're helping you. They're helping you along a path that you need to be on. You're there for a reason. You want to be a public speaker. You want to be just a better salesperson. And that's what this gives you, is the goals for that, or the skill sets for that, to bring you up to that. And the cool part is, I am here to help you with that. I am your guide. If you have questions, starting probably next week, there'll be one night a week, and I'm not sure when it'll be, that I'll be online on like a Zoom meeting that you'll all be invited to. And you'll be able to come in and ask questions for about an hour. I'll have my computer on, I'll be sitting there, and you can come in and ask questions. And we'll get down to the bottom of the answers, and then I'm forced to do that for 15 weeks. I mean,
What to, right?
I
You want to help the
really
clubs
want
out.
to help you guys
Jeez,
out.
thank you, Jeff.
Yeah, you want to help you guys out.
But how does that help us then if we're not going to be turning on to pathways? I mean, we have some new people that will, but what about the
Well,
rest of us?
you have to help the new people, right?
Yeah,
And
Right.
no, but I'm just.
So if they're going to ask you questions, you're going to need answers for them too.
Okay,
There are answers online.
okay.
And I'll be around online, and I'm also available in the evening, mostly by phone if you had to, emergency question. But basically, it comes down to that all of the answers are there for you. When you start going into the base camp and poke around, you'll see there's a lot of really, really interesting information. There's a lot going on. They've put a load of thought into this. Like he said, 7 years of thought and labor and tossing ideas around and switching it up. And then they've released it on the rest of the world, and by the time it's hitting us next week, they've got a lot of the weird stuff out. And now it's pretty straightforward, and it's very user-friendly. It's very designed for the non-technological people in the room who don't like the cell phones and the computers and what all. But it will fix that. Yes.
So poking around on base camp though puts you into pathways, correct?
Yeah, Basecamp is sort of like your Facebook webpage for
Well, because
pathways.
what you were saying before about if you're halfway through, like getting to your CC, you
Yeah.
might want to withhold on the pathways. So if you can't get into base camp because if you go that direction, you're in pathways.
No.
Okay,
On the 15th,
right.
you are allowed to go into Basecamp.
Oh, okay,
In other words, they're keeping you out now because they're not ready for you.
right.
But on the 15th, they're ready for you to come in and wander around, help yourself, look at
you
stuff.
still have
click
to
buttons.
sign up for a
You're-
path.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because if you
Yeah.
don't have access, if you don't sign up, you don't have access to the path. So you still have to
Right.
sign up for a path.
To know what your
Okay.
speeches are in a path. So take the little quiz and get a path.
Okay.
Do that.
Or not take the quiz. For example,
Or not take the quiz like you
I
always
decided
said.
I wanted to do dynamic leadership path. I didn't take the quiz. I didn't want to spend 10 minutes. So
Yeah,
I
you didn't
decided
have
I'm
10
going to
minutes.
do like dynamic leadership, and that's the
Right.
path I am.
Okay.
going to take.
Okay, so until you actually sign up for a path, you can poke around and you're not committed to pathways at that point.
Well,
won't be
you're
able
not
to do
so-
much until you
right.
get a path.
Oh,
Sign up
okay.
for a path.
All right.
Well, you won't see, there's stuff to see, but not a lot. It's not this giant website. When you have a path, you have access to all of the materials to do with your path.
Okay.
And before that, there's information and questions and answers, and that sort of thing is available to you. But right now, nothing is. But then on the 15th, go in there and look. Go see what it's all about. Go check it out.
So, again, I'm still not clear. So if I were to go in and choose a path.
Yes.
Or take a quiz, get a path,
Yeah.
whatever. All right, but I still want to finish up my
Yeah,
CC.
So do that.
So I just don't just give any speeches on
Right.
pathways until I'm
Unless
done
you
with
want
the
to.
other.
Yeah.
You know, if you,
Unless I want to do it both.
if you show up at a meeting, let's say, and Valerie says, "Can anyone speak?" You can say, "Yes, I'll do an icebreaker." Bam, done and done. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Icebreaker you could do anytime, especially you're an experienced speaker, so you
I've given 5 speeches.
see you're an experienced speaker, right?
And the icebreaker could be about anything. Tonight, this is my icebreaker in Pathways. I'm using
Right.
the Pathways icebreaker as an icebreaker for Pathways.
Right.
Okay.
So you're not forced to do pathways when you sign up for it. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
Once you have your path, you're not like, okay, you're on the path, aha.
Okay, yeah.
Now,
So
after
there's
2020, you won't have any other choices. There'll be
Gotcha.
nothing else you can do.
Gotcha.
And for the new people, they are automatically going into the pathways. They don't have the choice of the old one. They can't get the old books. Those are no longer going to be available.
Unless they join tonight.
Unless they do that tonight, in which
Yeah.
case Valerie,
You get both.
Valerie has a option for you.
No, that is one of the questions, since I'm the treasurer, is there still the extra?
Oh, how much is it? Oh,
Thank you.
Pathways is like $5,000 a person. You know what? How much is it, Hugh? Can you afford it? I bet you
Yes.
have all the money you need in that pocket right there.
Yeah, I have everything here.
It's free.
Yeah.
Doesn't change a thing. When you
Everything's
first
in here.
sign up, there's still the $20 that you pay to Toastmasters International,
Okay, so
and the
there's
20 for the
still
club or whatever you guys have going on.
Okay.
And then that gives you a free path. Let's say Valerie joins that other club.
Well, Valerie says she's a member of 2 clubs, right?
Yeah.
So she gets 2 free paths because she's a member of 2 clubs.
But that's all you get. You don't get any more than that.
If you were to join today, it would be $77. 45 would go to Toastmasters International. 12 would come to this club, and $20 it would be for your manuals, your 2 manuals, and your pathways. 77. If we don't get you joined by the 14, the price is the same, but you don't get the 2.
Okay, so the $70 is still.
Yeah,
Still $20.
you will get your magazines like always. That doesn't change. And if you're joining 4 clubs, you get 4 magazines. I don't know why.
Yeah, have a magazine.
There you go. Free gift.
Free gift, yeah.
Oh, I got it.
Everybody, oh, you got one?
Okay, so the
Okay.
pricing doesn't change.
No, now-
But they would not get the 2 manuals.
Right.
If
But
they're
let's say
just pathways.
you finish your first path. You get to the top of that path. Now what? Now you pay $20 for your next path.
Okay.
And you'll need 2 for DTM. So if you're going to keep speaking and carry on, you'll pay a little bit more, but it's $20. In the long run, that's not that
How
much.
many paths for DTM?
2 paths, and then some projects.
That's not bad.
That's why I say it's about 10 speeches fewer on the
Right.
And
Pathways.
you still have to do district duties.
Oh,
Yes.
this district duties. Hugh and I are scamming the district right now.
I know you
No,
are.
we're
I wish I
not.
had known
No,
that.
we're not scamming them, but as guides and ambassador, we only have to do a 6-month stint instead of a year.
Oh,
And now everyone else has to do a year. But they won't have guides after this year. After this round of guiding is over, that's it.
So if, as being a member of Toastmasters, if I go into Pathways, I don't have to pay an extra $20
No.
for the path?
No, you already have a free path coming to you.
Gotcha.
Everybody does, yes.
Are all speeches 5 to 7 minutes?
Almost all of them are 5 to
Yeah.
7 minutes.
There
The
is
only
some
ones that are
variation.
different is the icebreaker, which is 4 to 6 minutes, and the reflect on your path, I think, is 10 to 12 minutes.
Which is like the top of the path.
Yeah.
And then the evaluations are still 2 to 3, and table topics are still 1 to 2.
Okay.
Like even one of the projects in Pathways is to write a blog and blog for, I think, 6 months or something. After you've done that, you still give a 5 to 7 minute speech on how you did as a blogger.
So they did away with the high performance leadership?
It's still part of it.
It's still part of it.
Yes.
We call it a different-
It's just integrated more than you think. Now it's two separate lines of direction of thought. Now, the new way, it's sort of blending.
And there are paths which has a high performance leadership project as part of the path.
Anyone more confused than when we got here?
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, here's how I understand it. There are 10 paths, each path has 5 levels,
Yes?
each path has 14 projects. 10
Yeah.
are required and 4 optional, and a minimum of 15 speeches per path.
Right.
That's about right, yes?
And you complete 2 of those, plus some other things in your DTM.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, here's the exact requirements for DTM. You do 2 paths, which are the 15 and 15 speeches.
Okay.
Be an officer for a year, be a district officer for a year, start a new club, or do, I guess, a youth leadership program, or a speech craft. That's one part. Or mentor a club, or coach a club. And then do a DTM project. And that's it.
But if you haven't used one of your district officer roles for a DTM yet, you can carry that over from,
If you haven't used it, yes.
okay.
A lot will hold, but your speeches won't. So the speeches you've already done are not going to count anywhere but in the old way.
Yeah.
But when you start pathways, you're climbing up.
How
Yes.
about if you repeat the same 10 speeches? That
Why
you
not?
did?
You've already done them.
Just
Cha-ching.
repeat the speech.
Well,
Just
what-
follow the guidelines that they give you for each speech.
Yeah, well, I talked about at the beginning. Like, one guy's going to give a second speech and then give another speech based on the feedback. They actually tell you to give the same speech, or you give a different speech. So, Toastmasters is encouraging you to improve your speeches.
It's very interesting to see somebody give the same speech a couple of months apart.
Yes.
So what I have always wanted to see was to have somebody give a speech, redo it in 2 months, do it again in 4 or 5 months, and do it 4 or 5 times. It changes every single
Yeah.
time. Sometimes it gets better, in some respects it gets worse. Now Hugh, you've both been doing this.
Yeah.
This is what, the 8th time you've done
Seventh.
this?
We got
7th
one
time
more.
you've done it?
Yeah. Have you seen this icebreaker before?
So I have seen it before.
It's better, right? Hopefully. I'll hear about it soon. Right?
You'll find out later.
Oh, no.
Parts and parts.
What else? What else can I tell you?
All right.
More questions.
One more.
Julie?
When you click on a pathway,
Yeah.
because you're not sure exactly what it entails, will it tell in detail everything that's in that one pathway that you choose?
Well,
so
there
if you
is
are
a
looking
general
for leadership,
guide.
you'll know like which one is better for leadership for you.
I can help her on that.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I
Oh,
printed
thanks.
out
Okay.
the entire document. It was 160 pages,
Oh.
all 10 paths, everything that's required in every path.
So you found that general guide.
Thank you.
All right.
Yes, yes, because then what we'll probably do is we'll type out a master list or whatever from on the computer, and then we can have it like there, so if there's any questions that someone.
If you are so inclined, if you want to. But-
You can actually look it up online, Julie.
Huh?
Trying to get away from paper, I
Right.
believe, Mr.
Oh.
The concept is
yes,
you could actually,
okay.
I don't know about this club, do they allow Wi-Fi here?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so you're in an advantage. You could have one computer here, your VPE could bring her computer, and when people have questions, she can go right online and answer the
Okay.
questions immediately.
Yeah, cool.
You see what I'm saying? That's what they're looking
Yes.
for. You don't have to
Okay.
have a whole pile of papers. You just
Yes.
pop it up and then type in your search, and bam, there's your question, there's your answer. And now you've answered the question, move along. And you don't have to worry about it or lug it around. So,
And Toastmasters is working on something else related to pathways. Is working on the phone app.
yeah, they're
So you
working
can-
on the phone app.
Oh,
So you
okay.
can just get on your phone.
And-
It's still being worked out.
Right,
That's
it's still
what
being
they're-
worked out where you can log your speech while you're sitting here. You just go poke done, and then she can go on and poke done. She could have, if I was VP of a club, I would have my computer at every meeting. That way, when people are done, they can log in under their name if they want to on your computer, or if the app is out or they bring their computer, they can just do it on site. Be done and done. That way, it's all finished and nobody has to go home and do homework.
That's based on feedback from the members. We want an
Feedback.
app.
We want an app, right.
So they're working on that.
Yes.
So I've done 3 speeches in the old, because I'm kind of a new member.
Okay.
Should I just?
That's
Go
up
to
to you. If you want to finish 7 speeches and
what do I get? What am I getting at the end of? Like, I
you
don't
get
even know what the
improvement as
rewards
a
are.
speaker,
Yes.
I don't know.
You grow as a speaker. Most of the clubs will give you a nifty name badge with CC after it.
Okay.
That way you have that to wear whenever you want to.
Excuse me.
Although it'll be old school, and eventually these will be worthless, and we'll have to get.
not worthless.
Well, mine will be valuable
So
because I'll
that
be famous.
what does? I don't even know what I'm working towards. Actually, I know that's. Kind
That's
of weird.
exactly good
Okay.
because
Go pathways.
when the first
Okay.
question on the
No, but I mean, when I got the manual, I don't actually know what.
exactly this is the beauty of it.
Okay.
This is what it's going to help you do. The first question on that little questionnaire is pick 3 of these things that appeal to you. Things like public speaking, interpersonal communications. There's several questions there, and you pick 3 that appeal to you.
I understand that part.
Right. The old way, you just got a book and now go for it. Speak
Okay.
words now.
Got it.
And that's all you knew about it until someone came along and said, well, here's really what it's about. And if you had good mentors, they would tell you that. Yeah, the new club has mentors. They're going to force mentorship so that you don't have that kind of confusion right away. I had the same thing. I didn't even look at my book. I would just give speeches, and then they'd say, where's your book? I'm like, I don't know. Am I supposed to have a book? And then I learned to bring the book, check them off, they count, and things got better and smarter. The new way is automatic. That's kicked in right away. Once you get your path, you get a big paragraph that says, this is what this path is all about. Here's why you're on this path. And then you're now like striving towards a goal with speeches specifically designed for you to do that. And it's more organized, right? That old way is why it's kind of being shuffled away. The new way is self-starting, self-centered, me-centric. Is anyone at the contest? No.
No. Just me.
You were there, yeah.
Just me.
Okay.
But it's still a we society. See, we have to keep it all together. We're helping you, we're helping each other to learn.
The whole point
Did
of it
that
is just
answer
to
your
help
question
you.
properly?
I got it.
Okay.
I have to make the decision.
You have to
Well,
make
it's always up to you. Yeah. That's why we do it. It's for you. Right? That's why we do it. Looks like we answered all the questions.
Is that it for now? Excellent. Good job, everyone.
Okay.